The RotoGrinders Daily Fantasy Football Podcast is presented to you by Yahoo Sports Daily Fantasy. You gotta check them out week one. They are running a $1 million prize pool that is rake-free. No management costs whatsoever. And even best part about it, $25 entry, only 10 entry max, and a great payout structure. It is the best GPP week one. You need to check it out for yourself. It's Yahoo Sports Daily Fantasy.
Welcome to the Swolecast 2019. Evan Silva's out, Pete Manzanelli's in. It's gonna be lit.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to week one of the Swolecast, the 2019 Swolecast here on RotoGrinders.com. It's year 5 for us. And listen, I think this year is going to be better than ever. A few changes, mainly that the RotoGrinders got purchased by a better collective. And also Evan Silva, we launched his career too far, where he left us. Like, he didn't want to join us, but it's okay because we have, a replacement.
Evan who? Evan who? Never heard of him.
Got the jug.
It is important to know that, this show is going to be free for the season.
We're not charging you for this anymore.
My Venmo is themans.69.420@gmail.com. $4.20 for every take.
There you go. So we will have the same type of format. We'll probably be adding some stuff in, but listen, Evan was just a football guy. He was just a football guy. Toto, what were you saying off air about your matchups in the grind down compared to his?
Oh, I mean, his is like a children's book. Ours is like a novel. I mean, not necessarily saying that's a good thing, but
I've been printing out his new matchup columns, and I just like color in between the lines. It's just like
I mean,
they say when God closes in Evan Silva, he opens a Pete Manzanelli. All right.
We do want to let everyone know that Evan is still our friend so far, but we still will be busting his balls as well on the show, just in typical Swolecast fashion. We're going to continue some of the same things that you've heard on the show for the past 4 years in year 5. Things like a forward-thinking show. Things like Davis, you're a donkey. Anytime any Marshawn Lynch news comes out.
Now that Silva's gone, I'm like officially the least donkey member of this podcast.
I know.
Dude, are you kidding, bro? Mister, I have 110% Malcolm Brown now that Gurley's a full
You were saying Trey Quinn was in your automatic absolutes column this week.
Yeah. And we definitely will have some, as sharp as you've become, Davis, there are still some habits that you just cannot quit.
It's true. There's like, I'm going to tout guys who are bad just because I literally can't help myself.
Like when you said that Dante Pettis was drawing dead to be the team's number 1 pass catcher, and then the odds you gave after saying drawing dead were 3-1. And one of the reasons you gave was that Jordan Matthews was on the team.
Don't disrespect legend.
I love J-Matt. He's one of my favorite players, but
has he signed again anywhere?
No.
I think it's it for our guy.
I think he's
gonna wait to show back up with the Eagles in week 9 and catch a 60-yard touchdown and never be heard from again.
All right, so important programming note, we are on Thursdays now so that we can give the people, an extra day, and then we're also going to be free on the podcast, the RotoGrinders NFL podcast feed. So just type in Swolecast and try to find us. So with that being said, also, we have lots of premium stuff on RotoGrinders, including Tuttle's beautiful mug and the lineup HQ filters. Are you doing the cash game picks, Tuttle?
I do have the cash game picks, yes.
People could just skip this show and then look at Notorious and Tuttle and STL's plays, Squirrel Patrol, all those plays. Just skip this show. And then also there is a promotion. I'm trying to find it right now. If you go to Vegas Insider, we've basically partnered with Vegas Insider and we're doing a $10,000 in prizes for a pro football handicapping challenge. So, all right. Thank you.
Guys, I think I'm done with this, dude. This was fun. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Right. Thank you.
This is so boring, dude. This is so boring, dude.
Thank you, Mans. Thank you.
Thanks, Mans.
I'm looking forward. Peace out, dudes.
Later, Mans. All right. Well,
it's a 3-man show.
It's a 3-man show, I guess. Look at that. Look at that hotel room he has in the background. All right. Joining us now, we've got Peter Overzet.
Hey, guys. Hey, great to be here. Hey. I'm really excited for this opportunity. Like, I know really big shoes to fill, but I'm going to do my best. I'm excited.
I think Peter was saying that he definitely used the term Wally pipped. All right, let's get into the overview of the slate because this is week 1. But Davis, this is like a different week 1 that we've had in the past because of just all the news. And then today on a Thursday, we got even more news as far as like Odell being like having bad hips.
All these dudes are playing. Julio's going to play. Odell's going to play. You
think AB's going to play?
I do not think that Antonio Brown is going to play, but Antonio Brown is not in the main slate anyway, so not particularly relevant to our discussion. And also Julio Jones, I believe, was Julio's going to play. I guess it is tricky though because Odell is he's the highest projected wide receiver of the week. So I think at this point I kind of want to walk that back, and I'm more likely now, I think, to play Mike Evans in cash at that high-priced wide receiver spot.
Oh man, and we do have some changes, like Tampa Bay. This offense, people are going to see what Evans and Godwin have, and the Arizona offense is going to be interesting this year. Lots of storyline changes. Indianapolis, you might hear a in cash from me as far as Indy's offense later on.
Oh gosh.
Tuttle.
Don't do it.
You've got your terrible take as well later on. What's your view on the overview of this week 1 slate?
I mean, I'm scrolling through and trying to find my terrible take as you talk, but it'll be good. It'll be
at the end. It'll be at the end. You'll find it.
Yeah, no, it's, I think it's an interesting slate just because there are a ton of different ways to go, a lot of RB options. Wide receiver is a little bit more narrowed down, I think, but there's.
I don't think in cash. I think there's 4 running back options.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. No more. Like who? You got Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook. I think Leonard Fournette's a cash game option. Most people are touting him as a tournament option.
In cash, you're playing Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb, and Dalvin Cook with, and then your option would be maybe instead of playing Chubb, you play one of the expensive guys, but that would necessitate playing a wide receiver that you probably do not like as much as Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Odell Beckham.
I just think there's so many different options this week. But you saying there's only 3 options, Davis, makes a lot of sense.
It does. I mean, Chubb and Cook are obviously great options, but I think Fournette is legitimately just as good of an option as them, and he's the same price. So if you have this whole group think, which DFS Twitter is, which is in our little circle, that all these guys are just going to be like Cook's going to be 80% owned in cash games, just play Leonard Fournette, like at 20% owned.
So you'd rather have the 1v1 for your whole slate than just match the sharps?
Not necessarily 1v1, but I mean, I do think Fournette's just as good of an option. I would take Fournette over. I like Cook more than Chubb, but I would take Fournette over Chubb.
How many guaranteed touches for Fournette this week, Tuttle?
Yeah, can we get to 50 between him and someone else?
Yeah, him and Raquel Armstead, at least 50, right?
Yeah.
And then you got the Kansas City situation as well, like highest over under.
Yeah, I think Damian Williams is like, he's the secret good play, right? Because LaShawn McCoy probably gets like 7 or 10 touches like max, but Damian Williams plays all the third downs, and like he went from being like a top 15 player in fantasy football to like, I mean, he might get 5% owned this week, despite being the Chiefs' lead running back.
All right, Peter, this is your first chance to really shine.
Oh, wow. Many.
Overview of this slate.
We call it Pete's Overzet overview of the week, patented segment. I don't know. I think the thing I'm most interested in is along the lines of Damian Williams playing these guys that people are overreacting to from preseason. I feel like when the salaries came out, everyone was on the Cardinals. Everyone was so excited about it.
This is the number one angle, is that no one's playing the Cardinals now.
Hey, Davis, are you going to let me talk this night?
This is his overview segment. Come on.
But it felt like they were going to be super chalky early on, but then those preseason games happened and Kyler didn't look good in one of the games and all of their wide receiver snaps were all over the map. And now like no one's talking about them as much. So I'm really interested in David Johnson. I'm really interested in Christian Kirk. I like the Damian Williams call. I want these guys that people are overreacting to that I still think project for really nice roles and explosive offenses.
Yeah. Are people overreacting to Cam Newton's foot injury?
They said that he's going to have like no restrictions.
Right, but are people overreacting?
I would imagine that he will be like single digit ownership, and
we have him at 5%, which makes him just a smash tournament option.
Yeah. So I think that sounds, kind of like relatively reasonable, and but everyone's going to be playing the wide receivers, which is really interesting. Like a lot of people want to play DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel, but they're not super interested in playing Cam, which is weird. I guess that means like the Goff stacks will be owned then with the Moore Samuel coming back.
Do you guys, it seems like, I mean, I'm looking at the RG ownership projection. They have Samuel as the highest owned, 27%, and DJ Moore's down at 7%. Do you guys think it's actually closer than that? Because DJ's an incredible play then.
No, people, they always gravitate towards the cheaper guy, and Samuel just got all that pub, right?
The Silva bump, the Levitan bump, the Harmon bump.
Anyone with a Twitter account with FF in it bump.
Not me, dude. I stayed firm. DJ Moore is a way better player than Curtis Samuel.
Moore is the FanDuel play too. They're pretty comparatively priced on FanDuel, which just makes Moore the far superior player.
Yeah, I love that San Francisco Tampa Bay game. Should be fun.
That's the game of the week for sure.
Afternoon slate will be fun. I love the fact there's five afternoon games. The tilt entering late contest will be on full display. All right, I
thought it was like 10-3. Is there 5? I knew the ratio is awful again for the second slate games.
We've got Indy and LA, Cincinnati and Seattle, New York and Dallas, San Francisco and Tampa Bay, and then Detroit and Arizona.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. Good start, Peter. So let's go to quarterbacks, and we'll have DK construction in a second. But let's go to quarterbacks. Davis, what do you got for quarterback?
I think Kyler and Carson Wentz look like the cash game quarterbacks. Probably Wentz is our second highest projected quarterback on Daily Roto. I don't really like Carson Wentz, and I probably would not. If I was building by hand, he wouldn't be the name that I would click. But for tournaments, I think the guys who are really interesting and who I don't think would touch double digits would be Kyler, Dak, and potentially Nick Foles as well. I think Nick Foles could end up being like bad, like 9% quarterback chalk, just because all your favorite touts are going to talk about how the Kansas City Chiefs faced the most pass attempts of any team last year.
We've got Kyler Murray as the second highest owned quarterback this week. He's at
that seems very doubtful to me, but also like quarterbacks, like we talked about this before on the show, quarterbacks are just not chalk. Like they very rarely even touch 15%.
Also, do you have the cash game versus the tournament construction? How important is it to you, Tuttle, as far as like the concentrated offenses for tournaments?
Yeah, I mean, if you're not correlating in tournaments, you're pretty much just giving money away at this point. It's obviously not necessary in cash games, but I'm fine doing it in cash games as well if we have somebody that we like. I don't think it's a priority to correlate in cash, but it definitely is in tournaments.
Like Jameis, yeah, go ahead, Peter.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the thing about Kyler is this could realistically, DraftKings 5.6. This could be the last time he's under 6 for like a long, long time, right?
For like his career. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you might
26-point floor.
Yeah.
So like if Kyler runs 8 times and throws 38 passes, how many fantasy points total?
26-point floor.
Yeah, I mean he's better than Manziel, right? So probably 27-point floor.
Speaking of Manziel, Baker Mayfield against Tennessee. No love for that guy against Tennessee?
I think that's got to be candidate for most boring game of the week, right? If Cleveland is like, you know what, Odell's a little banged up, we want to just get Chubb to work, kind of get out of here with just an easy. I mean, Tennessee's so bad that I think we could definitely run into a boring game here, Dave.
I'm not gonna say it's not gonna be boring. I will say that Tennessee covers, and I think it's like what 5.5.
5. No, I mean depends on your book, I guess.
Soccer tout.
Yeah,
getting into Vegas spreads now.
We need Vegas.
He's got the
Dave,
sharp side shirt on.
Vegas Dave.
You want to take? Yeah, it's going to be one of my. Actually, I don't think I'm eligible to play. But Davis, you want to choose?
I picked Tennessee +5 in my pool.
Of course you did.
So if you're doing the sharp side thing, I'll admit I haven't looked at the rules too closely, but I'm pretty sure you just want to spam as many bets as you can in the week. So anytime you hear Soccer Dave with the take, just take the opposite of them for every.
No, the Tennessee. All right, so Arizona, Tennessee, those are the offenses that just didn't really show you much in the preseason. Tennessee didn't even have Derrick Henry until this past week.
Oh, well, we all know he's the engine, right?
Well, they are going to give him the ball quite a bit, and people are down on Mariota, and he's just going to ball out. Like the Mariota Truther Island is so sparse right now. It is.
I mean,
nobody on the island.
Mariota is my third quarterback in a couple formats where you need to have 3. So, like, I hope that you are right. But I just am really not encouraged with all of the hires they've made.
How's the offensive line going to hold up there?
That's why Mariota is your guy, naked Mariota bootleg. But Jimmy G, the opposite side of that offense. I mean, people were scared because of his 20 interceptions in a row. That's kind of, Peter, what you're talking about, like overreacting to the training camp. I feel like that's another situation. Stafford, people think this Detroit offense is just going to be terrible and Stafford's going to be terrible. Guy played with a fractured back last year. It just feels like there's a ton of options. Let's talk about Jacoby Brissett though, especially
Here we go.
On DK.
You don't need it, buddy. I mean, whatever. Like if you want to do the Hilton, Mike Williams, Hunter Henry lineup as a way to make your Hunter Henry lineups not chalk, fine, I guess.
4.4K. He's so cheap.
That's the kind of price that gets Dave hard when it comes to quarterbacks.
It made it move for sure.
That price tag and the fact that the guy's name sounds like brisket. Dave is just.
I mean,
on
I will
another
say
level right now.
This is better than the average min price quarterback play that we talk about on this show because Brissett will probably add for his career he averages 1.9 fantasy points per game rushing. So it's not like this is not a Mettenberger situation where 6 points is a realistic outcome.
2 other names that I like that seem like they're going to go under-owned, Matt Ryan and Jared Goff. Matt Ryan in the dome. Jared Goff should be on the other side of a high shootout.
Ryan is a stone fade for me this week. I will not have any.
Why?
Because I think that I mean, quarterback, you should really be looking at nothing but ceiling. And I think that like 75% of the time that game is just gross because Minnesota just really wants to establish it. And I kind of think Atlanta would be okay establishing it too, as long as, cause they're on, you know, like they're early in the season. They're dealing with this Julio thing. And, you know, now that Silva's gone, we can admit that defenses matter, guys. We can talk about defenses mattering again because Evan's not here to tell us they don't.
Well, the over hit on how long it would take us to mention defenses don't matter on this show.
No, actually, the reason why I'm not playing Matt Ryan is I think that game is going to be too popular relative to the avenues that I see it going. And like really what you brought up right away, I think the biggest edge this week is that people forgot that the Cardinals want to run like 80 plays a game.
I just think there's so many options. How could you say it's going to be too popular?
I mean, I think even at like 10%, like
maybe the Minnesota side, but no, I don't think the Atlanta side is going to be insane.
So what I wrote this week in my column on Daily Roto is I really would like to take the route of choosing an avenue in that game. So if you have Dalvin Cook, you don't have Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley in that lineup, and then you would key in your lineups, you know, if Calvin Ridley, if Julio Jones, no Dalvin Cook. So it would be hard for Matt Ryan to make that lineup in a correlated way.
All right, no Lamar Jackson love before we move on.
He seems like a better FanDuel play to me, just without having to sweat the bonuses. Toto, what do you think?
The bonuses are the reason why you're not playing him on DraftKings?
Well, like so his projection on DraftKings is always going to be a little bit worse because he's probably drawing the most dead out of any quarterback this week to get 300 yards passing.
But 100 yards rushing.
I'm a little worried. I would be a little worried that so like seasonal, I think obviously he's a great start. I'm a little worried that they're just up 15 and they're like, all right, let's see what Justice Hill's got.
If there's one thing that Silva taught us though, it's that you can't worry about game script. You don't know how the game, you don't know how the games are how they're gonna end up.
I mean, they are massive favorites against Miami. What a weird game. 10-point favorite in a 37 total game.
I don't think they're a 10-point favorite.
I'm pretty sure they are.
I thought it was 6.5.
Who are we talking about?
Thanks for joining us, Tuttle. The Ravens. Ravens versus Miami. It's at Miami.
Did you see that Greg Roman presser today where he basically was like hot hand, you know, Mark's going to be the starter, but everyone's going to be involved?
You're right. You're right, Dave. 7 points.
Yeah. I have 6.5, but what are 3 extra points? All right. Let's move on. The bottom line is for quarterback, there are a lot of considerations.
And you should just be doing it in a way to correlate with the other plays you like.
Yeah, just play. Yeah, especially cash. Just play Brissett. All right, let's move on to running back. Davis, you think there's only 3 running backs on a 12-game slate?
No, I said there's 4 running. Well, if you make Saquon and CMC basically the same guy because they cost right next to each other, they're $200 apart and they're projected half a point apart. I think that pretty clearly the options in cash games are Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, Nick Chubb. Though if you are buying all of this, if you're buying all of the Leonard Fournette in the passing game stuff, I would concede that he is an option as well. Though it obviously with my cash lineups, I probably am not going to go there.
Tuttle?
Yeah, I mean, on this slate, I don't think you have to really – I do think the guys Davis mentioned, when I was saying there's a ton of tournament or ton of running back options, it's because you do have like a Chris Carson.
Yeah, there's like 20 guys I think who are playable in tournaments. Like I think it's a really interesting week for tournament running backs.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of playable guys, and I think we kind of there's a lot of playable guys that actually have like solidified workloads too. It's not a normal week like last season where a lot of times we would only get a handful of guys that were kind of cheap and kind of getting both receiving yards and rushing attempts. Whereas this week we kind of have probably close to 10 guys that are actually full workload backs.
We've got news today that Todd Gurley will not be on a snap count.
Yeah.
Do you buy that, Peter? Do you buy that news?
I haven't been buying anything positive about Todd Gurley. Every single decision that the Rams have made since, the end of the regular season last year indicates that they don't want to give him a full workload. So I'm still not buying it. I'm not quite. I'm more of a Darrell Henderson guy versus Malcolm Brown, but I'm with Davis.
Oh, dude, boo! Get him off the show, bro. Kick him off the show. I didn't know that.
I like long, touchdowns. I like fantasy points. I don't like 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Okay.
Yeah.
I prefer my running backs as undrafted free agents 5 years ago from Big 12 schools.
You're too pot committed on this Malcolm Brown thing to even see this situation clearly, Davis.
It's true. It really is.
Well, here's the thing. I was riding Todd Gurley deep into the Super Bowl even last season. So now that I'm off, it's going to be a breakout week, baby. He's going to get.
We're getting the total reverse jinx.
Yeah, the reverse mush is coming.
Like the number one guy in all of fantasy football last year is going to be 5% owned, 8% owned maximum.
That's going to be low.
Like
and his price tags down too.
Yeah, it's crazy, and we don't even have him as a good value. Like it's just what are you even supposed to do with him? It's very hard to say.
Well, what do you guys have him? What do you have his market share running share projected at? Do you know off the top of your head?
I know off the top of my head what I have for the seasonal projections, which fed into the baselines, but obviously Drew and Mike have edited them a lot. But I had him he was my number 13 running back, so I had him for 60% market share of the carries, but I trimmed back his passing yardage work and gave a lot of that to Darrell Henderson. Like I think I only had him for 9% of the team's targets, which is really low relative to how he was being used last year.
Right. We currently have him, I think it was right around 55% for this week, which again, I think where do you start with a projection on his workload just because of all the speculation? But, if you're using projections out there, just know that they're probably using a pretty low baseline.
Yeah,
market share.
You should, whatever you're using to build your line, I'm just listening to this, you should alter the Todd Gurley projection to what you think is the most realistic outcome, because the person making your projection doesn't have any more insight into how Todd Gurley is going to be used than you are. They're just making their best educated guess.
Yeah, he easily has the biggest room for improvement on his base projection on this slate.
Yeah, how surprised would you really be if 7,900 Todd Gurley was the highest scoring running back of the slate, caught 7 passes and scored twice? Not that shocked, right?
I'd be kind of shocked.
Because I think the deal with him is that he's going to be fine sometimes, but then it's going to be like Tiger, right? Where sometimes his body feels okay and he can do it, and then other times dude's going to look like Malcolm Brown.
Hey, Davis, what if his arthritis or tendonitis spreads like your golf, your tennis elbow?
It gets down to his ankle, you think?
Bro, that tennis elbow was so bad.
All right,
I had a surgery and I'm fine now, Tuttle.
Is anyone taking? Mm-hmm. You had surgery?
I didn't know you had surgery.
What a beta. All right. Is anyone taking Saquon over Christian McCaffrey in cash games this week?
I'm not playing either in cash, but we have CMC projected higher, so that's what I would do.
Yeah, $200 savings and much better game script.
All right. If Evan Silva was on the show, he would definitely mention Chris Carson just because he is
Carson's a really good value this week. I think the issue you're going to have is that he really probably has to score twice to end up in a tournament winning lineup, right? That's probably the only avenue to him getting there.
Isn't any tournament winning lineup going to have their running back scoring twice?
No, I think there are a lot of guys who could catch 10 passes or something like that's in their range of outcomes, but I think Carson is very unlikely to see over, even at a 90th percentile, I think he's probably unlikely to see more than 4 receptions.
Yeah.
That is the thing with a lot of these running backs is I feel like we've started to make assumptions about, Chris Carson's going to get, pass work. And that's kind of a big question. But on this slate, because there are so many values, I feel like you can pay up for Christian McCaffrey, and you don't have to worry about and do the guesswork on guys like Mark Ingram or Chris Carson. Because I'd just assume go down to Breida at 4K, and he was
top
of
buddy
the depth chart, and he's going to catch passes. That game projects to shoot out too. So why not just save that money and know you have the passing floor there too?
Buddy. Well, I knew there was a reason we had you on the show.
I'm a big Breida lover this year. I don't think the depth chart really means that much, but I think that he is going to be interesting. On the opposite side of that, I can't wait till Peyton Barber is the one just catching passes and doing everything, and then everyone writing over the season that he wasn't going to catch any passes, that Ronald Jones was going to somehow turn into a good running back.
You're not a Dare guy, Dave?
Dare Ugumbalale?
A team captain, no less. That means something.
For special teams.
It does.
Thank you.
Former Wisconsin Badger.
And he did catch a lot of passes at Wisconsin. And I do think he's a great best ball ad and a great seasonal ad. I'm just not.
Dar is he's like the exact opposite of the type of guys you should be adding if you do zero RB.
Like, you don't think that he can catch passes for a team that's going to be very pass heavy this year and behind a lot?
I think his range of outcomes is way worse than guys like Mike Davis, CJ Anderson, Malcolm Brown, Darwin Thompson, who's now going late again. I just think he's sort of a troubling use of a roster spot.
All right. How do you guys feel about Darius Geis this week? We got news.
If he just nuke him to.
He's so cheap.
Yeah, he's cheap.
He's so cheap.
Is he going to get passing down work when they're down, or is that all going to be Chris Thompson?
I think he can, though. I think he can get passing down work. And
how many passes? Okay, gun to your head. How many passes did the Washington professional football team complete this week?
I don't know, but he could be the guy. Ugly. He could be the guy getting all of them. Just check down Charlie.
I mean, ideal situation.
6 receptions, 8 yards.
Ideal situation.
That's 6.8 points on DraftKings.
You guys wanted two combinations for two guys that could combine for 50 carries. That's the ideal situation in Washington, is they just run the ball literally 60 times between Adrian Peterson and
do they run the ball when they're down 19 though?
See, that's the problem. But if they jump out to the lead, it's just going to be Geis and AP trading 3-yard blows at a time.
Mike Jones says AP might not even
be inactive.
He might be a scratch. He said Gruden plans to start Darius Geis at running back, but hasn't decided whether to dress 2 more or 3 more backs. Could need a third back to play special teams, Davis. So won't say if Adrian Peterson is the odd man out yet, still trying to decide. That's the news we have right now. So if AP is out, giddy up, boys. Giddy up.
You really are not going to be playing Darius, guys. There's no way.
10-point, what are they, 10-point dogs?
Yeah.
Oh, I love Darius, guys. He's one of the guys.
He didn't even go to Vandy.
I don't care. The dude is going to eat. He's going to eat.
Okay, all right, here. Even around his salary, you still think that, so for example, he is $400 more expensive than Matt Breida. He's $600 more expensive than Miles Sanders, $400 more than Justin Jackson.
I would take him over Justin Jackson in a heartbeat.
See, I think Justin Jackson is a very similar argument, but he's much more likely to score.
Oh, Justin Jackson's going to be starting? Did the Chargers say that Justin Jackson was going to be starting?
Oh, it's going to be 50-50, and he's also not going to play passing downs, just like Darius Geis probably is not going to play passing downs.
You don't know that. All right, let's go to DraftKings. Let's build a lineup. This is our first Silva-less lineup. But let's face it, Silva didn't even have DraftKings open when he was building lineups.
I'm going to show the utmost disdain for your guys' picks to try to carry on the Silva tradition. Yeah. And then I will overrule you and get 2 of my picks. I will bully you until you are forced to swap out your pick.
That's Davis.
Speaking of carry on.
Oh, please no.
Come on, Tuttle. Everyone's off the carry-on wagon. This would be a great carry-on pick.
You know what I'm on?
Spot right now. What are you on?
the Detroit stack in tournaments.
I actually don't dislike Carry-On that much because even if he loses some work to CJ, it would be weird for them to make CJ the third down back and not Carry-On. I mean, that's how they used him in the preseason. Like, so who knows what Matt Patricia and Darrell Bevel want to do, but it would be weird at least if they did that.
I think CJ knows hypnotism though. Like how else did he have such a big role for the Rams last season?
Because Malcolm Brown was on the IR, dude. They didn't have him. It was Malcolm Brown's time. He was on the IR.
Dude, you've taken this. So people know why Davis has so much love for Malcolm Brown now. Yes, you have a lot of exposure to him in tournament or in draft leagues, right?
Oh, big time.
In best ball. And then we had a buddy share a text that his buddy received from Jared Goff.
This is not public news, bro. I haven't told anyone.
This is public news now. He supposedly received a text from Jared Goff. His buddy asked Goff who were the fantasy sleepers for the Rams this season. And Malcolm Brown was the answer. And that's why Davis is so hype on Malcolm Brown.
Keep in mind, Davis also had a Dallas insider.
Oh gosh, he has the Dallas insider.
Was it Cole Beasley? I feel like it was like.
It might have been, yeah.
It was right after Dez tore his Achilles, right? Or something, and we were like, okay, who's the top wide receiver? And so Adam Goulet's high school buddy is the Dallas linebacker, Dallas Cowboys linebackers coach. And so Goulet tells me, okay, bro, it's a Cole Beasley week. Or I don't remember. Maybe
I don't know if it was Beasley. I think it was somebody different. I think it was someone really random.
Yeah.
Whatever it was that I was
sure it was a white wide receiver though, and that
if dude got like no targets.
If Silva was here, this is when he would go, I was at the combine and I was having dinner with Sean Payton and he said they're not going to feed Alvin Kamara the rock this year. Big year for Latavius Murray. Had dinner with Sean Payton. Great. Trouble on the ribeye.
He'd be like, can we talk some football?
He'd be like, oh guys, are you serious right now?
All right, can we get on track here?
Yeah. All right. Quarterback. Actually, no, you don't have to pick quarterback, but Peter, we are going to let you.
Wait, is Carry-On in?
No.
Oh, okay.
You just said Carry-On. Yeah.
Let's do it.
You're the new guy.
Kyler, baby. Let's do it.
Kyler Murray?
Yes.
I love it. I freaking love it.
Oh man, he's coming to the show and he's dropping the good picks. You do love to see it.
Baby.
All right. You're the only one that can do that on this show.
I mean, I don't know. Look at this.
Oh, look at that.
All right, calm down.
Well,
Tuttle's terrible triceps.
Dad life gone wrong.
Lifting the babies, the car seats.
We also need to tell people this is not necessarily a cash game lineup. We will
play this in cash.
No, stop it. Because you get all the donkeys that are like,
play it in cash.
I played this and lost.
If it doesn't cash, double ups.
But let's make like a good tournament lineup. Like let's win $1 million with this lineup.
Okay, I can't go with my 1 in 150 take here then.
Oh gosh.
No, just go. just try to channel your new Davis.
I have for real a 1 in 150 here, but if we want to go a little bit chalkier, that's fine.
Can I just say something too? I realized before we were doing this Swolecast, I realized last season I had like the best call of the season and I never got any hypes on it and any pat in the backs and I was really disappointed.
What was it?
It was the week that Kiki QT started. First week back.
I shouted you out because I played him in the $12 single entry and got second with Kiki.
Yeah, the dude had like 10 receptions and Silva's like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
He was legit like 3% owned.
I don't think they're gonna be. He's gonna be a part of the offense. I don't know. And then I realized I'm like, so many people could have taken this take, and including myself. I didn't make a whole lot of money off of it, but how did somebody not make a lot of money with that? I guess Davis kind of did.
I think it's because you got the Silva like debump, like you got the Silva like bump down.
That's true. Silva just ruined my QT take.
You know, and that's why I think this show, like, I don't want to talk bad about Silva on his first show off, but
you want nothing more than to dunk on Silva?
I do think that like the shackles are off now, and
we're set to run free.
Yeah, we're not going to be tied down anymore by Mr. Evan Silva.
I think this is a Ewing theory situation here, right?
Yes.
Silva.
Yes.
All right, Tuttle, who you got?
I mean, I'm bringing.
Not answer me on my. It's my turn, and you guys
All
didn't.
right, give your take then. If you're going to give your take,
you're not going to ruin my pick. If you do, then I'm going to do that.
And
Demir Bird instead of Christian.
No.
Okay, no, we're good.
No.
He's gonna be out there because they play 10 personnel.
No, Trent Sherfield would score more than Demir Bird.
Davis watched 5 minutes of the Arizona-Minnesota preseason game, saw Demir Bird just roasting Xavier Rhodes, and just wants a piece of that.
All right, well, let's just do Christian Kirk then. Let's just do Christian Kirk.
All right, I like that.
You know who I'm bringing it back with?
Carry on.
Gotta be Marv.
Yep, big Marv.
Yeah. He's like an insane value, and pretty much
nobody's gonna play him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
he is 4,847. Oh, we're gonna have so much salary.
I mean, 4,800 for a guy that's gonna score 2 touchdowns and 100 yards is pretty good. That's a bargain.
All right. I feel like we're gonna need to spend a little bit. How owned do you think Christian McCaffrey is gonna be this week?
Bigly.
He'll be.
Yeah, he'll probably. I mean, I
20s.
wonder if because people will have salary for him. All right. So with that being said, I kind of want to go Saquon, but you know what? Just forget it. I'll go Fournette. I'll just go Leonard Fournette against Kansas City. Get some exposure.
I was hoping to get 1 week through without playing a fullback.
Yeah. I want to take what you say seriously, Davis, but you're a grown man with a NFL jersey on right now, so.
This is my
you checking this lineup too?
This is my Swolecast jersey. I always wear this to do the show.
Still. All right.
Yeah, I did last year too.
All right, I want to spend a little money here. I think everyone's going to be playing Godwin. What if we go with Evans here?
Yeah, big time. I actually think that we could be. The only thing that's going to suck is if Julio and Odell actually are banged up, or one of them is inactive. All that's going to flow to Mike Evans.
Could, but
obviously I like to play.
All right, Tuttle. Actually, no, Davis.
Davis, yeah.
Well, the one thing I know is that playing Hunter Henry in tournaments this week is so bad that it's so bad because he's getting. Tuttle, what do you think? Hunter Henry's own percentage in the $25 single entry double up on DraftKings is going to be?
Man.
He is 3,900.
It's not going to be as owned as you think just because Kelsey's a freaking awesome play. And I think there are cheap enough guys that you could realistically play Kelsey. But yeah, he's going to be.
I think he's going to be like 40% in double ups, probably, maybe even more. So my play at tight end is Evan Ingram, who's getting like all the pub as the high target guy for New York, and obviously, noodle arm Eli. He's just going to love those little 8-yard flats to Evan Ingram.
I like Ingram. All right, Tuttle.
Okay, so we put Ingram in there.
Yeah, so we've got running back flex and a defense. Let's say you use like a 3K defense, you would have like 6,500 left per player.
So probably should play like a Dante Pettis or.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it would be perfect in this line, but I'm not going to do it.
Why wouldn't you? Because
you're
scared. You're scared of Davis. Davis intimidates you now.
He does.
Oh my gosh! If you went Dante Pettis, it leaves you with 7,700. Guess who's 7,700? David Johnson.
Ooh.
Oh,
I like that.
That is actually
Pettis is actually a good play this week.
Oh no, David!
You can't do it. You can't do it.
He is.
Don't you call him a fish and then you try to say he's a good play week 1, like right out of the gates. Like, let your bad takes marinate. Let them marinate and really kind of stick to him the first couple of weeks.
Actually, you know what? I walk it back. He's not even in our top 40 wide receiver. I thought he was.
It's been a roller coaster for evaluation.
Welcome to the show.
Marquise Goodwin is a straight up better play than Dante Pettis this week.
I mean, I don't know if we should get crazy.
That's false.
I mean, I don't really want to play the wide receiver in the flex though.
All right. Well, who do you want to play in the flex?
Wide receiver in the flex is going to be ultra mega contrarian this week, to be fair.
You know who I really like, but I'm not going to play on this slate or in this specific lineup. Just scrolling through names, Sammy Watkins.
Yeah,
his exposure to the Chiefs offense at 5K. I think he's a really, really good play, but better for game stacks. Use him over Tyreek or with them to differentiate. So, all right, I guess running back. I'm probably just going to go chalk here. I'm just going to go Chubb. I want the Chubb Cleveland correlation.
All right, that pretty much does it for the DK lineup.
You have 6,300 left.
Yeah. I don't know.
Wow, I wonder who you could play for 6,300.
I
wonder if there's someone that correlates.
Actually, two people that do.
Yeah.
No, we already took Fournette. All right,
Damian,
let's move on.
bro. Damian is literally
Galladay, Dalvin. If you don't,
I really like my lineup. I'm just gonna keep my lineup with
Damian is just gonna win someone $1 million, and it's gonna be tough for me to see.
Wait, are we not finishing this lineup? What's our
No, you can't really finish this.
You can't. It's DK rules, man.
DK rules.
Oh, is it really?
Dude,
Yeah.
player guidelines, Peter.
The man's doesn't abide by those guidelines.
No, I mean, the man's
doesn't.
Moving on.
Overzet.
To run lineups in lineup HQ, you have to go exclude two defenses. You have to make it at least two modifications to the player pool.
Or just bump somebody's projection up by like 0.01.
But if
that's a modification.
Tuttle's given the hot take or
there's your trade secrets.
Yeah, the behind the scenes stuff.
what if we just start saying, like, hypothetically, we would play someone who sounds a lot like Shamian Lillian?
Well, Shamian Lillian, not the best.
I'm trying not to get sued here, all right?
You'd have to say, like, Wamian Williams.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, DraftKings did get baseball's Twitter account suspended, so they could come after the mans for sure.
Please don't make corporate get involved in week one. Let's move on to the wide receivers. Let's talk about some wide receivers. Overzet, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, you lock button Demir Bird, and then I think
he's going to be on the field for like 10 snaps, man.
Hey, dude, but did you see what he did to Xavier Rhodes?
You hate to see how much Tuttle has really mellowed out. Guy had his 9th kid, and he doesn't have it out Demir Bird anymore.
So here's the thing what Davis does is that eventually, because of injuries and whatnot, in week 15, 16, maybe even 17, Demir Bird will
get some run.
And then Davis will say, see, I told you so.
You guys are just fish. You didn't add him in our dynasty league, and so as a result, I know you're tilting, Dave. Got him for a $0 bid, buddy.
Guess who I got for $0? Darren Waller. And Ty Montgomery. Shout out to ADHD for dropping Ty Montgomery.
Shout out to Evan Silva for ruining his ADP on draft.
Speaking of Silva, remember Demir Bird last year?
I think it was 2 years ago that he scored 2 touchdowns, right?
I think it happened. Yeah, I thought it was last year, but yeah, he scored 2 touchdowns on a week that he was touted on this show.
How does Silva do this?
So maybe it's
How does Silva do this water thing? I have to piss so bad.
I actually have to piss too. Just go under the desk.
I'll confirm it was 2 years ago, and it's the only 2 touchdowns of his NFL career.
Oh man! If Silva, you're watching this, Bilal pal. All right, let's hit some wide receivers. Who's your must-play wide receiver in cash games? Davis, we'll start with you.
I mean, it's gotta be Curtis Samuel, 4,200, right? Just like, insanely good value. It's a very healthy team total. Obviously, we expect both of these teams to pass more than league average, which, just increases the chances of more plays being ran. And, Matt Harmon said he's the best route runner on the team.
Perception.
Yeah, I mean, he just feels like a super easy play, though. I could see myself not even needing the salary and just having the extra money and playing D.D. Westbrook, who I think is just as good. I think they're like. I
was wondering if you were going to give a D.D. take.
Yeah, he's a good play.
Yeah.
Remember when people used to troll me on Twitter and not know that D.D. Westbrook was better than Keelan Cole?
Yeah. I remember when people troll you a lot on Twitter, and honestly,
everyone's always wrong, and I'm always right.
Most of it's deserving. I'm going to skip Tuttle because you can just go to his I'm going to give a sneak peek for Tuttle's cash game pick.
Oh, I don't even know. Let's see who I have tag. I'm on there now.
You've got Tyler Lockett on there for a cash game pick. I like that.
On DraftKings, I think it's fine on both sides for his price tag.
So here's why I think the projection seems weird is I think at a 50th percentile it's fine, but like doesn't any sort of like defensive special teams touchdown or anything just like ruin him? Like can't you see them completing like 9 passes in this game?
Yeah, like when he returns a punt for a touchdown, that's gonna ruin him.
That's even better than an Andy Dalton pick six. I would be a little bit worried about the Tyler Lockett volume.
Passing volume is obviously a concern there for sure.
Speaking of Dalton pick six, what about Tyler Boyd? I mean, he's going to get as much volume as he can handle. They're going to be down that whole game, 5,800. It could definitely go south if they just implode, but the volume should be there.
I mean, he could legit see like 19 targets or something crazy.
I actually had him. So this is a good note. All our lineup tags on Lineup HQ will likely change as the week progresses when we kind of refine the process a little bit. I actually did have Tyler Boyd initially tagged as a cash play.
Oh my gosh, I think he's possible. Corporate Tuttle.
I love it. Let's talk about on the FanDuel side. Like I'm honestly not sure what his ownership's going to be, but Tyreek Hill.
He's pretty cheap on FanDuel.
On FanDuel, he's 7,600, and people are going to, worry about defense. And Davis, as you know,
what's about defense?
I mean, defense, like as it relates to teams like the Kansas City Chiefs, like you would really be better off not even looking at who they play against. They play one of the 5 best defenses in the NFL, and they have a team total of 28.5, third highest of the week, highest of the main slate. Yeah, it's just like Mahomes. So here's a good one. Mahomes had his worst fantasy game of the year against Jacksonville last year, threw for 300 yards and ran for a touchdown against them. So it's not really something that I'm worried about at all as it relates to the Chiefs. And I think that Mahomes, this could be one of like the lowest 3 weeks you get for the cumulative own percentage of the Mahomes Tyreek stack.
He just has such a high ceiling too. Tyreek does.
I mean, like 4 targets, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns is like a real thing.
And I mean, they're going to get him. They're going to try to get him the ball. Peter, do you have any FanDuel takes?
FanDuel takes. I got plenty of them. How much time do you got, Dave?
Because Davis only gives DraftKings takes. He doesn't even bother anymore. At first, he acted like he was like kind of give FanDuel takes, but he doesn't even bother anymore.
I mean, I spend 100 of my waking hours a week on DraftKings. I can't pretend.
I don't know why you don't play on FanDuel. And this show isn't sponsored by FanDuel or DraftKings, but like why you don't play on FanDuel,
Dude, you're taking time away from Peter right now. Let's be respectful of the floor, Dave.
Yes.
This is my one chance to shine, Dave. Well, kind of going back to that again, Curtis Samuel, 5.9 on FanDuel, and you got DJ Moore at 6.2. And if those ownerships aren't like within 2% or something, and it's so lopsided in Curtis, I just want to play DJ Moore there every time.
It's been a weird kind of roller coaster as far as like the fantasy Twitter, as far as DJ Moore is going to be amazing this season. Oh, Curtis Samuel is going to be amazing. And now no one's really talking about DJ Moore. It's like the inverse, and we could see the inverse happening now out there. Devin Funchess, by the way, out of Carolina. I'm saying he's like back. He had like a back issue. He's going to be back if you want to play him with. I don't know if I'd play him in a
what?
I legit.
How is Devin Funchess' name getting brought up on a talk show?
Because we were just talking about Carolina. And he's
Dave with is recommending freaking Brissett Funchess stacks over here.
Funchess is only 5.6K.
In cash games too, by the way.
No, I would not play him in cash. I would go naked Brissett in cash if you're playing that 4.4 thing.
I mean, remember, FanDuel's pricing is so suppressed that you like, why are we talking about like 5,600 for Devin Funches isn't like cheap on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Especially when DJ Moore's like $600 more.
It's just a mate. Like you gotta let kitchen be kitchen.
I mean, there's so many good receivers on FanDuel that are under 7K. Chris Godwin at 69, Tyler Boyd at 69, Tyler Lockett's at 68, Galladay and Kupp right there at 68, 69. But let's go ahead and tell Devin Funches.
I was really talking about Funches like saying he's back. It was like an NFL news note. I wasn't gonna play him. If he scores 2 touchdowns this week, though,
he was gonna, yeah.
I was on it first. All right, Winston. Who has a better game, Evans or Godwin, point per dollar?
Godwin.
Tuttle?
I'm looking at their prices on FanDuel. Godwin.
Godwin's 6.9K, Evans 7.9K. Peter, you've been talking about how everyone's hyping up Godwin and not Evans.
I want to fade the Godwin hype. I think at least in season long, it's gotten way out of control. I still think Evans is the guy there, and I'm willing to continue to back Evans in this battle.
All right, let's open up FanDuel. By the way, any other hot take as far as like wide receivers?
We didn't even cover some dudes who have like legit slate breaking potential. Mike Williams against Indianapolis had 11 touchdowns on 64 targets last year. I think there's definitely a scenario where we just see Mike become the alpha and Keenan Allen the Julian Edelman of that offense. Calvin Ridley, if Julio Jones is not active in this game, would have one of the better volume projections of the game. And this might be the cheapest and the lowest ownership percentage that you get on Michael Gallup all year long. And the Cowboys have a really high team total, 26.5, which is, again, probably one of the highest they'll have this year.
I love Gallup for a best ball play. Dante Pettis.
He's going to be like 3% owned, assuming Amari is active.
Any Smokey Brown takes? I feel like we need to mention him just as a Swolecast favorite in the past.
Yeah, he seems like the guy. I mean, if you're going to pair Josh Allen with anyone, it has to be Smokey, right?
Yeah. All right.
I've got a feeling.
Uh-oh. Oh, you think if Diggs plays?
I would prefer Diggs out. Who has? There's a Twitter stat. It needs to be re-brought up. I feel like this Twitter
injury
stat.
Splits?
Yes, recycled every single time.
Yeah, Barry posted it yesterday. I think there's a bunch of people posting it. Yeah.
It's like no more than 5 catches.
Whenever he's listed as questionable.
Yeah, he's usually pretty bad. All right.
He's just getting load managed, I think.
Last wide receiver before we open up FanDuel is a guy that people have recently been just like going nuts over. You gotta have this on. You gotta have this guy on your seasonal team. You gotta draft him on your best ball team. Who do you think it is? Peter, you probably don't know who I'm talking about.
DJ Shark.
Nope. No one's saying DJ
Shark.
Albert Wilson.
Oh yeah.
And he's 3.9K. I guess if you're playing any Baltimore stacks, he'd be on the other.
I'll leave that to Scott Barrett.
He's 3.9K though. That's cheap on DraftKings.
I like John Ross more if I'm choosing a bad wide receiver on a bad team.
I'm thinking of rolling out the all pump play Colorado State alum lineup with Preston Williams, Michael Gallup, and Rashad Higgins. I think that's the alpha.
Pretty good. Yeah, I like it.
I know. I hope Wilson's not going to be a thing because I'm heavily invested in Preston Williams and Devontae Parker. This might be Devontae Parker's year. We need to, like this might be Kitchen's terrible take. Devontae Parker, his player comp on Player Profiler, you know who it is? It's AJ Green. He is AJ Green light, and now he's going to be playing with Fitzmagic.
Never heard this.
They're both equally relevant in week 1.
There's your tournament play right there. Fitzpatrick, Devontae Parker. Eat it, Silva, because you're not on this show to tell me I'm wrong. Let's move on to FanDuel. Make a lineup. Tuttle, you go first.
FanDuel. I mean, we talked about it. It's going to be a little bit chalky, but I still like him here. 6,200 for DJ Moore is too cheap.
All right. Davis, do you have your account open to FanDuel?
I do. I'd like to just go ahead and chalk it up with Nick Chubb here.
Why?
It's probably the cheapest he'll be all year.
Not when Kareem Hunt comes back to take his job.
Oh, you mean the dude who's injured and suspended?
You know, if I was playing season long, I would definitely have Kareem Hunt on my team personally.
Yeah, I would.
Who was the season long take? I feel like you have one of these every year. There was one last year too that people got so triggered about that you said you wouldn't have a roster spot or use a roster spot on him.
Doesn't sound like Davis at all.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like me.
All right. So we have Chubb, DJ Moore. Who you got, Peter?
We mentioned this guy earlier for cash stuff, but I want to get D.D. Westbrook in here.
He'll probably be less owned on FanDuel than on DraftKings too.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, and I'm going to go Tyreek just to go with that take. I'm honestly interested to see how owned Tyreek is because of Jacksonville.
I mean, this is going to be if you wanted to get good percentages on your Kansas City Chiefs, this is probably one of the 3 best weeks of the year to do it.
No, thanks, Davis.
I mean, I'll take Mahomes then. Somebody's got to do it.
We got to take him. I just said that like 3 seconds ago.
Did you? I thought you were talking about how like ownership percentages and.
I said we got to bring it back with Mahomes.
Guys, I am working right now and I don't find this environment very positive. I'm just going to say that.
Foster a positive work environment, Kitchen.
It's definitely a negative work environment right now. All right, Tuttle. Oh, you already just went. So Davis. Davis.
Yeah, just 3 seconds ago, I said I was going to take Patrick Mahomes.
So dramatic. I love it, Davis. Davis, you want to pick someone else that Tuttle hasn't picked?
I mean, how hard do we want to go with the correlation game?
I mean, we have a quarterback, wide receiver, and opposing wide receiver. I feel like that's as hard as we need to go right now.
Are you thinking of someone that sounds like Shmamie and Quilliams?
I was thinking Travis Kelce, or of course DJ Shark.
Yeah, Kelce.
Yeah, Kelce. Probably interesting to see.
I think we can make it work.
Yeah. I don't know. I hadn't built one with Kelce in yet.
I think we can.
We got to take a cheap defense,
which is fine because defenses don't matter. Miami against Baltimore. Miami at home against Baltimore, 3K. Let's say Lamar Jackson is just terrible. There you go. All right. So if we did that, we have 6,700 left per player for running back.
Oh, I didn't see how cheap.
Yeah, we're good there.
I didn't see how cheap Matt Breida was.
Yeah, Breida's cheap. Carson's cheap.
Yeah. I feel like in honor of Evan Silva, I need to go Chris Carson.
Wow. We have trashed him pretty hard. It's time to toss him an olive branch.
Butler Community College legend Chris Carson.
All right. Tuttle, you got 6,800 left.
Oh, yeah, I can fill this out, right?
Yeah.
It's
FanDuel. God, look. Derrick Henry, 6,800.
And no, I'm good.
Imagine spending your hard-earned.
I'm going to pass on that.
Devonta Freeman, 6,700.
I mean, the move is just Austin Eckler.
Ooh, that's such a Tuttle move, too.
I know.
Yeah, who likes to play the good plays?
Yeah.
David's too busy trying to get Derrick Henry in his lineups.
I'm just saying, get your boring game correlation with Chubb versus Henry. If you did that, you have, there's like no difference. Like you can go up to the Giants against Dallas, hard pass. You're not playing Cincinnati against Seattle. I missed the kicker spot. I would have definitely played Cairo Santos. You see he's with the Titans?
He's back. Yeah.
He's with the Titans. It's lit. All right. Tight ends. How much of a lock button is Hunter Henry Tuttle?
On DraftKings?
On any site.
I mean, he's a better play on DraftKings. I'm not calling him a lock, but I mean, Travis Kelce is just a monster play on this slate that I'm not going to call Hunter Henry a lock button.
Okay. I mean, we do, obviously FanDuel is a little bit different where the range of outcomes is a lot different. So
there's only a $1,700 difference between Kelce and Henry on FanDuel. If you're playing Henry over Kelce on FanDuel, you might be a fish.
Fair enough.
I already know Dave definitely has Darren Waller in cash.
Oh man.
Is he 4K?
Oh.
What if he was in the slate? Darren Waller
not on the slate.
he would just be jammed into all of Dave's lineups.
He might be.
Dave's gonna play Vernon Davis.
No.
When Jordan Reed sits out.
Yeah,
I think I may play George Kittle.
Over Kelce, bro?
I mean,
Not a cash.
$500 difference. He's a tight end 1 this year. You already said he's going to be leading the team in receptions.
He is.
He'll be crushing it.
Kelce will probably lead the Chiefs in receptions too, though.
Doubt it. Kittle, you got OJ Howard for 6,500 in that same game. No one's wanting to play Zach Ertz. But let's go back to DraftKings tight ends. Yes, on FanDuel, only play good tight ends. That is a good point. I wasn't looking at salaries, of course, when I mentioned Hunter Henry on FanDuel.
On DraftKings in cash, it's there's one option. I don't even really think Travis Kelce's a good play in cash on DraftKings.
All right, let's say it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Delaney
Nick
Walker.
O'Leary.
Wait, Mans' face is the best here. He's just like, what the F did I just get into?
I wanted to get one Nick O'Leary hands reference in.
Yeah, we need to talk about the T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry, 3.9K. OJ Howard, 5K. Evan Ingram, I like the Evan Ingram pick. I think he could just get peppered with targets.
If I wasn't such a massive coward, I would actually probably prefer Ingram in cash, but I pretty much always match the chalk at tight end.
I also think that Delaney Walker is a good play. Don't kill me. I think
they mean Delaney.
Delaney.
I know Davis also likes Delaney Walker a lot. He likes him so much, even more so than Justice Hill.
Man, probably the worst mistake I've ever made drafting a fantasy football team.
How about this? The next touchdown that Delaney Walker catches for the Titans will match Frank Wycheck as the career leader. How's that?
Wow, that is exciting news.
Isn't he already the leader in receptions?
I don't know, Davis.
I believe he is the Titans franchise leader in receptions.
Any
Are people just like walking around Nashville sharing that fun fact of
that is so fun.
Titan historian?
I am having so much.
People are in a little bit of a tizzy around Nashville because of the Tennessee college team. So after Sunday, it might get bad if they have another bad performance. I think they'll cover, and I think that the Titans might even win on the road.
I made much like all my Delaney Walker stats. I made that one up. He is 8th all time. He is 8th all time in receptions on the Titans franchise.
So who's to make up a stat?
Kendall Wright.
It's Corey Davis season this season. All right. Any hot takes as far as tight ends go? Can we move on?
I mean, Ingram, I think, is the strongest tournament play at the position. Cause he won't, cause he's not going to fit in correlated game stacks. So I really like him as a filler.
I'm going to go with Jeff Swain.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm going to go with Greg.
Njoku's kind of a fun tournament play too, especially if Odell's a little banged up.
I'm going to go the silver route and just mention the old guys, the veterans that I can never – we should have mentioned Fitzgerald for other wide receivers just in honor of Evan. But I'm going to mention Greg Olsen as well.
I think we've named like 8 Cardinals wide receivers on this show, so you can't go wrong. We've just covered the board.
And now you know how it works.
When Kyler throws for 85 yards, it's going to be so lit.
It's like the highlight reels for like college or high school athletes. You only take the good plays when you promote them. So we'll only be taking the good plays next week. All right, Tuttle's terrible takes. Who you got, Tuttle?
I don't have one.
You just had an hour plus to get a terrible take. Can you not have a...
Davis stole all mine.
Davis had a lot of terrible takes, but
they were really bad.
I cannot believe you don't have one terrible take.
It was going to be Trey Quinn, but I can't pick somebody that like Davis is on too. So it's like, and it's not even terrible, but it would be like Marvin Jones. Is that terrible enough or no?
We need like J.D. McKissick level terrible take here.
We need probably tout Demir Bird, I think.
Yes, yeah. How do I top
I am
that?
so disappointed. Not like a
I got nothing. I got nothing. You can't force these, Dave.
You always force them.
You can't.
Darius Geis would be my terrible take. 4.4K. Let's go.
I can't believe we didn't get like Chris Conley mentioned from Davis.
I mentioned DJ Shark twice.
Yeah.
Chris Conley's gonna outscore him.
Is DJ Shark even going to play?
No, Chris Conley, baby.
I believe he is their starting flanker.
He got a concussion last, or maybe it was week 3 of the preseason.
He's good to go. It was like a month ago.
Yeah, brain bruise is no big thing. All right, final thoughts. What's that?
Not in the NFL, it's not.
Final thoughts. Overzet, what's your final thought for this show?
Just have fun, guys. That's what this is all about. Just it's about building some lineups, having some chicken wings, throwing on Red Zone, and just thinking, life's good, man. Life's good.
Tuttle, you got a final thought for me? Can you muster up one of those?
Just play those lineups that we made in cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
If they don't do well, tweet at Soccer Dave.
There you go.
Or at Davis Mattek.
Yeah. Davis Mattek at Davis Mattek. Davis, you have any final thoughts?
Make sure that you are running out Detroit, Arizona game stacks both ways. Matt Stafford, Kenny Golladay, Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, Larry Fitzgerald, David Johnson, and of course, Demir Bird.
All right, and I will say, on a serious note, Evan, we missed you. This is going to be a fun show, but obviously, we missed our buddy Evan Silva. We hope he crushes it. Any jokes or just that?
Definitely follow Evan Silva on Twitter
at Evan Silva.
Such a great follow.
Gave him the man's bump. He's gonna get like an additional follower from that.
I'm gonna Aaron Rodgers this, probably not Baker Mayfield this.
Oh yeah.
That'll do it for week 1 of the NFL Swolecast here at RotoGrinders.com. Check us out on RotoGrinders. We'll see you next week, week 2.
More like Nick Chugg.
I hope we're still recording.
Get excited because it is time for the largest contest in Sharpside history with our Pro Football Handicapping Challenge presented by Vegas Insider. We will have $10,000 up for grabs this season, both in weekly prizes, mid-season prizes, and then a $5,000 grand prize winner. So here's how you get in. First, you gotta download the Sharpside app. We have it available for free for both iOS and Android. Once you get registered, then you go into the app and you start swiping your favorite totals and spreads in NFL games. We'll have weekly and season-long leaderboards right in the Sharpside app so you can see how you stack up versus the competition. Remember, the most units won each week will win the weekly prize, and the most units won over the course of the entire season will win that $5,000 grand prize and be the best handicapper for this NFL season on the Sharpside app. So check it out. Free to play. It's the Pro Football Handicapping Challenge presented by Vegas Insider, all on the Sharpside app.